This is a tutorial for finding confidence intervals in Excel 2016. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to copy the data we're interested in this case phone use or phone time, and paste it into a new spreadsheet. Now we won't be using the data analysis tool pack to conduct the one sample t-test because there isn't a function to do so. So we're going to actually be using Excel sort of as a calculator to manually perform the one sample or right-sided t-test in this case. And we need a few pieces of information before we start. The first thing we need is the mean of our data, phone time. We need the standard deviation. And we need a sample size, or an N. And so we can use the functions in Excel to calculate each of these. So for the mean, we're going to use equal, average, select our data of interest, in this case phone time, and we get our mean. Standard deviation, we use the standard deviation function. Counts, we use the count function. And that'll give us our N, or our sample size. Okay. We also need to calculate our standard error and our degrees of freedom. So the standard error is going to be equal to the standard deviation divided by the square root of our sample size. Our degrees of freedom will be equal to our sample size minus 1. In order to calculate our 95% confidence interval, we also need a t-critical. We can calculate this as follows. So we use the function t dot inv 2t, so two-tailed. We enter in 0.05 because we want a 95% confidence interval, and we enter in our degrees of freedom. We hit return, and we get our t-critical value. Now to calculate the 95% confidence interval, we take our calculated mean and both add to get the upper bound t-critical times our standard error, and that gives us our upper bound, and from the mean subtract t-critical times our standard error. This gives us our upper and lower bound, respectively, for our 95% confidence interval of our mean phone time use.